Hi and welcome to my channel. My name's Amy and I am a knitter from Wales. Today I am wearing the Louvre sweater by PetiteKnit. I knit this up in Drops Lima in the colour Rust, I think it is, 0707. This is what it looks like. It's a really beautiful burnt orange colour, and if you look really closely at the yarn, it is flecked and speckled with like bits of yellow, bits of red, which I really like. I think adds a lot of depth to the colour. So it is a wool and alpaca blend. So it is, oh, I don't know exactly what the blend is actually. 65% wool, 35% alpaca. It's really nice, really soft. I really like it. And I have 3 balls left over from making my sweater. So I'm thinking I might make myself a hat to go with it, but I haven't completely decided yet. So if you have any ideas of what else to do with 3 balls of the Drops Lima, do let me know. So yeah, I really enjoyed making this. It was an Italian cast on here at the top of the collar, and you knit down the rib, and then there's some German short row shaping at excuse me, at the back, and then some German short row shaping at the front, and it's a really nice raglan increase, and then you join in the round after you split for the sleeves. The only thing I'm not so sure about is I find the arm depth quite there's quite a lot more positive ease here than I would like. So I think perhaps my row gauge might be a bit off. And I think had I made it a bit longer, I think I would like it a bit more. But I still love it. It's super warm. It's super soft. I love the colour. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing today. Now, things that I finished in December are, I made this for my daughter. So I have a 5-year-old daughter. This is a Bourgeois de France pattern. It was knit flat because of the cloud motif here. It's intarsia, so I'm not quite sure how to do intarsia in the round, but anyway, it was knit flat and seamed up. It has side seams and then raglan sleeves for the arm with this flat ribbed collar. You can't actually see the ribbing on there, but it is ribbed, the collar. And then at the end you add on these really beautiful little I don't know if you can see that, these beautiful little knotted bits of coloured thread just to make the clouds. So I have made this for my daughter already in a much smaller size in pink. I can't remember the name of the yarn. I'll try and link it below. But she wanted one in blue, so I've made her one in blue. And of course, now I've made her one in blue, she wants another one in pink. So I may or may not be making another one of these again, but she loves it. She's a really grateful recipient and a pleasure to knit for. So if she asks for something specifically, and she's 5, my daughter is, so she's at the age now where she's able to pick and choose what she wants to wear. So yeah, that is a recent make that I made. Now also for my daughter, I tend to knit quite a lot for her. I made, so this is the Cloud sweater by PetiteKnit, which is a really lovely pattern, really simple stockinette stitch pattern. You do some German short row shaping at the back, and it has these really lovely pearl lines of pearl detail on both the shoulder seams and again on the seam for the arm there as well, which I really like. I think it's a nice little detail. And I made this in some leftover yarn that I had in my stash. It was, I don't even know if they produce it anymore, but I bought this yarn when she was a baby to make something, some kind of blanket or something for her that I never quite got around to making. So it's a Sublime Cashmerino Aran weight yarn. It's super soft, machine washable, and she absolutely loves it. So she's only had it, I think, about 3 weeks, and already I've had to wash it 3 or 4 times. It's already she's taken it to soft play and it's holding up really well. I'm really pleased with how it's holding up. But she again chose that pattern herself, really loves it, and would really like another one. So it was a super quick, I think maybe because of the big gauge. I mean, I really like working on bigger needles because things just seem to fly off. But yeah, with the chunkier yarn and the bigger gauge, it was quite quick to make. So yeah, really enjoyed that pattern. I would highly recommend that one. And lastly, for my daughter, I made this hat, which is the Oslo hat. I don't think it's going to fit me. We'll stretch out a bit. I made one for my mum for her birthday in this exact yarn, which is a cashmere blend yarn, fingering weight cashmere blend yarn. And there was just enough left over to make a junior size hat. So I've made one for my daughter as well. So they are now matching. So this was not a planned make. It was just something that I did with the leftover yarn that I had. Okay, so moving on to things that, oh, sorry, I have one more. I don't know how I forgot this one. So this was a finished make recently. It was my husband's Christmas present, and it is the Zipper Sweater Man by PetiteKnit. So I finished this one, actually it was a Christmas present, so I finished it, but it wasn't quite done in time. So I think I installed the zipper on this one on Boxing Day, which he was very understanding about. I still wrapped it up and gave it to him without a zip, because it was complete but for that last little detail. So I finished that on Boxing Day and installed the zip, and so I hand stitched the zip in, and then which it looked super neat, super flat, and I was really happy with it. But then I machined over the top of it for security, and when I machined over the top of it, it went a little bit bumpy, so I'm not quite sure. But either way, it's really marginal. I like it. I really like it, and he really likes it. He's worn it so much since, and he tends to wear it with the zip slightly open as well. So that's fine. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the pattern, you start here at the top of the collar. You knit a big chunk of ribbing, fold it double and knit it together, and that gives you this really lovely thick collar. It does feel rather like you're wearing a cowl or a scarf when you have it all zipped up, so it's really good cold weather. And where we live, we've had quite a lot of snow recently, so it's been quite nice to have that extra layer across your neck. You then move down to the raglan sleeves here, increase for sleeves, and again split for the arms, join in the round, and it is just stockinette, 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 stockinette. So I made this in a Berger de France yarn that I bought this yarn specifically for a Berger de France cabled jumper, and I made the jumper, I made the front panel because it was knit flat, not in the round. It was a knit flat pattern. So I knit the front and I knit up to the arms of the back, and I just sort of held it together and thought, that's not going to fit him. So I frogged it. To cut a long story short, I had knit and re-knit this same pattern 2 or 3 times, and I just completely lost all interest in it, and I frogged the whole lot. So I had this, the brown is 100% wool, and then it is a, the mohair is just a black mohair, but I really liked the effect that it made. I don't know if you can see that there, that sort of marling that I really enjoyed. It was the recommended yarn for the Berger de France pattern that I originally purchased the yarn for, but it wasn't the recommended yarn for this jumper. However, it has worked really well. My husband really enjoys it, he really likes the colour, and he's actually asked for another zipper sweater, but this time in blue. So I'm currently looking for some yarn to make him a second one so that this one can go in the wash. So that for me is quite a lot of finished objects in 1 month. That you can thank Christmas and New Year for that, because I had plenty of knitting time. And I've got 2 whips currently. So my first one is for my son. This is the Moby Sweater Junior, which by PetiteKnit, sorry, I should have said that, it's by PetiteKnit. So it has this lovely crisscross faux cable crisscross pattern at the front, some garter stitch borders, and then some beautiful cables and some double moss stitch. I would call that double moss stitch. I think it probably has a different name, but anyway, this is the Moby Sweater Junior. So he's age 10 and I'm making it in the size 12 to 14. So hopefully that will, I've tried it on him a couple of times and it seems to fit across his shoulders, so I'm really happy about that. He specifically wanted something with lots of cables on it, lots of texture. He was attracted to that. The yarn I'm using is another Berger de France yarn. It is a 40% worsted wool and 30% acrylic and 30% polyamide, so 30% non-natural fibres, which I'm going to need it to be machine washable because he's so messy when he eats. I had this yarn in my stash again. It was bought for a project that I never ended up making and casting on. So I had this yarn left over. He would have preferred it to be in more of a aqua blue or a teal blue. Those are his favourite colours at the moment. But I had this in stash, which is like a very light blue, grey, and he said, yeah, that would be fine. So I'm making it in this one. It is this pattern. I'm sure you're familiar with it, by PetiteKnit. And I've completed the back yoke. I've done most of the front yoke. I've just got another, I think, 6 or 7 rows in pattern to do, and then I will be dividing for sleeves. So I'm really pleased with that. I put the collar in yesterday just to make sure that so that I could see how it fits when I tried it on him, and he really loves it. So yeah, that's my first work whip, my work in progress. And my second one is again a PetiteKnit pattern. I feel like I'm in my PetiteKnit era at the moment. It is the Ingrid sweater here. I'm sure it's a pattern you're all familiar with. So I love all these rich colours, the reds, the oranges. I love purples and navies. And I just saw this particular yarn, which I believe is called Bordeaux. I don't think I have a ball of it here. Wait there, I'll go get one. So it is this yarn, Palette, which is a fingering weight, 100% Peruvian Highland wool by Knit Picks, and I'm holding it double. And I bought this purely for the colour. I absolutely adore the colour. Oh, sorry, it's called Lingonberry Heather, and it is heathered with sort of flecks of purple, red, there's a bit of pink in there. I absolutely adore it, and I thought it would be perfect. So I have been making the Ingrid sweater with it. I hit gauge holding it double, and I'm using 4mm needles. Yeah, 4mm needles. So that's where I've got so far. So I'm really enjoying the pattern and the colour work. I have to finish this faux cable section, then I have another section of double ribbing and then the ribbing. So really excited because I feel like I'm getting quite close to finishing the body on this one. So lots of texture, working on a lot of texture at the moment, but that's fine. I love that. And acquisitions, just one this month. So the next pattern, that I am going to be casting on, I have already bought the yarn for. So you can probably see I've done a lot of stocking out projects in December and a lot of structure in January. So for February, the pattern that I am going to be casting on is going to be colour work. I have purchased this Tin Peer Gynt by Sanders Garden, and I have purchased the Tin Silk Mohair to go with it, and I'm going to be casting on the porcelain sweater. So this is a 100% wool, I believe. Yes, it is 100% Norwegian wool. It feels quite soft for a 100% Norwegian wool, or 100% wool, sorry. And I got this beautiful colour called Jolly Blue. This is actually the colours that were recommended in the pattern. I saw the pattern and completely fell in love with it. And whilst I appreciate that, you know, you can choose your own patterns, I want my porcelain sweater to look exactly like the one on the website as well. And I noticed that even though the pattern says it's to be worn with 20 centimeters positive ease, on Ravelry I noticed everyone else's jumpers are quite slim fitting. And then I noticed it's because in the sample photos she was wearing it with a bit more positive ease. So I'm tempted to size up because I really want that big boxy look that she has on the sample photo. So anyway, I've gone off on a tangent talking about the pattern, but this yarn is a fingering weight 100% wool, and I'm going to be holding it together with the silk mohair, which is 50% mohair, 28% silk and 15% wool. So I know I've seen reviews that people saying that this can be quite a scratchy yarn. I'm going to try it and see, but that is my only acquisitions this month, well, except for the pattern as well, which I'm not going to show you for obvious reasons. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for joining me today on my first ever knitting video, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye.
That was amazing.
Did you like it?